In 1967, American Cobra pilots called their AH-1s Hell's Hammer, sleek armored beasts slicing through the skies over Vietnam. So terrifying that entire NVA battalions would break and run at the first distant thump of their rotors. But in the spring of 1972, everything changed. A new threat rose from the jungle that shattered the myth of American air supremacy in a single heartbeat. Suddenly, the most feared gunship in Southeast Asia became a flying coffin, and elite crews started carrying extra sidearms, not for the enemy, but for themselves if they went down. What happened in those green hell valleys broke the backbone of U.S. helicopter power. The hunters had become the hunted. How did total dominance of the sky turn into a death sentence? The answer reveals a brutal tactical truth that changed the Vietnam War forever. When the Bell AH-1 Cobra first roared into Vietnam in 1967, it wasn't just another helicopter. American engineers had built it as the world's first dedicated attack gunship, a pure killing machine designed to hunt and destroy. The narrow fuselage was wrapped in layered armor, thick enough to shrug off .50 caliber machine gun fire. Pilots sat in a tandem cockpit behind bulletproof glass, protected from the ground fire that had shredded so many Hueys in the early years. Armed with a nose-mounted 40mm grenade launcher and twin 7.62 mm miniguns that could spit 6,000 rounds per minute, the Cobra could turn a jungle clearing into a killing field in seconds. Under its stub wings, it carried pods of 2.75-inch rockets and later TOW anti-tank missiles. Enough firepower to wipe out an entire enemy company or stop a tank column cold. The Lycoming T-53 engine pushed it to over 170 knots, making it one of the fastest helicopters in theater. Its service ceiling reached 12,000 feet, high enough to stay above most small arms fire. U.S. doctrine called for low-level nap-of-the-earth runs combined with diving rocket attacks. From that height, the Cobra could rain hell while staying mostly out of reach of Viet Cong machine guns. North Vietnamese soldiers learned to fear the distinctive whoomp-whoomp of its rotors echoing through the valleys. The nickname spread fast, Hell's Hammer. To the Americans, the AH-1 was proof of technological supremacy. To the NVA and VC, it was pure death from above. By 1970, over 1,100 Cobras were operating across Vietnam. Losses were low. The combination of speed, armor, and aggressive tactics made it seem nearly invincible. Cobra pilots, especially those in elite units like the 1st Cavalry Division and 101st Airborne, flew with absolute confidence. They called themselves the Death Dealers and painted razor-toothed shark mouths on their gunships, certain that nothing in the jungle could touch them. For 5 years, America owned the skies over Vietnam. The Cobra was the sharp tip of that dominance. A machine built for total war, flying above a battlefield that seemed powerless to stop it. Then, on April 30th, 1972, during the Easter Offensive near An Loc, the rules of the war changed in one blinding flash. A North Vietnamese soldier shouldered a weapon American intelligence had only heard whispers about: the Soviet-made SA-7 Strela II. The target was an AH-1 Cobra flying a routine fire support mission. Seconds after launch, the missile locked onto the Cobra's blazing exhaust. In less than 6 seconds, a machine built to dominate the battlefield was ripped apart in mid-air and crashed into the jungle in flames. The route that brought the Strela to An Loc ran through layers of Soviet and Chinese secrecy. Hundreds were smuggled down the Ho Chi Minh Trail, hidden in rice sacks and ammo crates. Training was crude but deadly effective. Within weeks, NVA crews were knocking American helicopters out of the sky at an alarming rate. U.S. pilots had no warning. For years, their doctrine relied on speed and low-level flying. The Cobra's armor and agility had made it seem untouchable. Now that confidence evaporated in an instant. The Strela didn't care about armor. It hunted heat, and the Cobra's turbine engine burned like a beacon. In the months that followed, Cobra pilots faced an impossible choice. Fly low and risk devastating ground fire from .51 caliber and 23mm cannons, or climb higher and become easy prey for the Strela. The Cobra was supposed to be untouchable. In the spring of 1972, it became clear the battlefield had changed forever. The SA-7 Strela 2 was a game-changing weapon. Its infrared seeker could lock onto a helicopter's exhaust from over 3 kilometers away. Once fired, it was pure fire and forget. The operator could dive for cover while the missile raced toward its target at Mach 1.5. American flare countermeasures were only partially effective. The Strela often ignored them and homed in relentlessly. Its proximity fuse meant even a near miss could shred tail rotors or ignite fuel lines. The statistics were brutal. In the first 6 months after widespread Strela use, American helicopter losses nearly doubled. Dozens of Cobras were confirmed destroyed by the new missile alone. Each one represented years of development and millions of dollars reduced to burning wreckage in seconds. Altitude became a death sentence. Above 2,000 feet, the Strela ruled the sky. Below that, heavy machine guns and RPG ambushes waited in the treetops. There was no safe height. Every mission turned into a deadly gamble, with the odds getting worse every week. The old swagger vanished from the ready rooms. Cobra pilots who once painted shark teeth on their birds now carried their .38 revolvers with grim purpose. The unspoken rule spread through the squadrons. Save the last round for yourself if you went down behind enemy lines. Capture by the NVA often meant torture and execution. By 1973, the helicopter war in Vietnam had become a grim arithmetic of survival. The Cobra, once the undisputed king of the battlefield, was now flying into skies that wanted it dead. The lesson from Vietnam would echo for decades. The Pentagon gave it a name: the Strela effect. A single shoulder-fired missile costing less than $10,000 had forced the world's most powerful air force to rewrite its entire helicopter doctrine. In the years that followed, America redesigned the Apache with better infrared suppression and agility, while NATO rushed to develop new tactics for manpads-infested battlefields. But the Strela legacy didn't stop there. Thousands more missiles spread across the globe after the war. The cost equation was as cold as the jungle floor. America spent billions on the air war in Vietnam. The entire Strela program cost the Soviets a fraction of that. For every Cobra lost, millions vanished in smoke and fire. For every Strela fired, the calculus of modern warfare changed forever. Today, in conflicts from Ukraine to the Middle East, the same brutal truth repeats itself. Cheap portable missiles still bring down multi-million-dollar gunships just as they did over the jungles of Vietnam more than 50 years ago. Technology alone never guarantees victory. In the end, it's the side that adapts who rewrites the rules. Share your thoughts.